Hi, welcome to this mini learning, which I've entitled, Where Have My Credits Gone? So working on Make and pushing out my human in the loop experiment using Make quite heavily, and also starting to put into production a lot of the agents that I've been playing with. And I'm sharing this because I think it's really useful for if you're using Make to be aware of this, because my credits are getting hammered and I wanted to understand why. So if we start with the end in mind, I've got this many credits left and I've literally just finished this. So there's nothing else going on at the moment. I know that for a fact. So this is what I ended up with. And let me show you my Google Doc. And this is what I started with. So 9,798. So one run of this scenario, I'll show you the scenario in a second, used up 293 credits. But with the new Make pricing, they've put in this handy show credit usage on each module. And this is the second batch of the scenario that I ran. So it iterates through 14 times and pushes data. The total cost of this, just looking at it cleanly like this, should be 1 + 1 and 14 times 4. So the first cycle should be about 58, and then the first cycle, where I had 26 runs, which I didn't show you because it'd be really boring, should cost me 106. So where are the missing 129 credits? And here is what you really need to be aware of. Those missing credits are all locked in the agent. When you look at this pricing here, it says this module is costing you 14 credits, but that's not correct, because the agent itself, in order to work, has these 3 system tools. So it is, every time it's running, activating 3 scenarios behind the scenes. And when you then do the math, it makes sense, because the agent is calling 3 scenarios, 14 cycles in the second execution, 26 in the first, multiplied by 3 gives you 120, and I know that the 9 are wrapped up in one test run that I did to try and validate that. What's the lesson here? The lesson is, when you're using agents, make sure you know that this 14 is not correct if you have got the agent running other make.com scenarios, not to mention OpenAI charges. This module really costs 14 times 3 in terms of credit usage. Be aware of it, because as I'm starting to push out human in the loop and start using Make more and more with agents, there's a real danger that I'm just going to burn credits. One of the things I'm going to investigate, is there a way of creating these agents whereby the system tools here are needed because I need the live data. However, these tools, while the data changes, it doesn't change all the time. So is there a way of providing the agent with this information that may make the agent runs cheaper? If I figure it out, I'll add it as an update. But right now, my mini learning and my human in the loop journey, especially using Make, is agents can be expensive. Make sure you remember how many scenarios are going on in the back. And it's pretty obvious, because the guys at Make are doing a pretty good job of it. I can understand the credit and the charging, but the transparency needs to be improved. So hopefully this is useful to those of you watching. It was certainly a useful discovery for me in terms of how these make agents are actually activated, because I have been just running them in OpenAI and testing them and transferring. So now the costing is slightly different, and perhaps the answer is not running the agents in Make if I need all of this, because I can run it in OpenAI, and I know that there are ways of giving this information here that is less expensive. But once this starts scaling, 26 of those runs every day is going to get very, very expensive in terms of credits. Thank you for watching. Thank you for following my human in the loop journey. I hope all these discoveries are useful and interesting to you. Drop me a comment if you want anything recorded in more detail about what I'm doing. I am intentionally sharing it at top level rather than creating 40-minute long videos that are not useful.